CodeTutor here, and my name is Anil Deshpande. As an Android developer, you would be knowing basically how to build an Android application. You would have mastered Jetpack Compose. You would have understood how to work with the standard MVVM architecture, view models. As you go further, you mature yourself by understanding what are solid principles, and then you also start concentrating on how to write the unit tests. So far so good. What next? If you are part of a organization and part of a team, then what really matters is how you are managing all your code. You are most likely are going to be part of some team, or you are managing the team. So it becomes paramount that you have to ensure that there is consistency in the way the code is being delivered. And then the code quality also becomes a big issue. You have to keep measuring what is the code quality, and as more and more people are delivering the code quality doesn't suffer. So you might be already guessing where I am heading with this thing. It's all about how do you manage the releases. I won't be directly getting into the buzzword, which is continuous integration and continuous delivery, that is CI/CD. But before I get into that, I want to talk about certain concepts and tools that you can work with to get a flavor of what actually it means to take it further with CI/CD. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this video is about linting or lint. What is lint? Think of it like code reviewer that basically checks for the consistencies in your application code base. Are you following the best practices that you want to enforce in your code base? All the strings are properly used or not? Are there any unused strings? Are there any unused assets? Because what happens is, over the period of time, as the application gets built, people keep adding more and more number of SVG files and PNG files, but they really forget to remove the unused ones. So you want to really keep track that there are no unused PNG files and SVG files that will go as a part of the final production code, because if that goes, that basically means you are basically shipping a lot of junk with the actual working code. And then the indentations, the style guides that you want to enforce within your development team, are they being adhered to? If there was a tool using which you could enforce these things, that tool is basically Lint. And Android already comes with Lint tool. And we will have a look at the default linting tool, how it works. And there are then already quite a lot of third-party linting libraries or frameworks that you can include in your project to enforce certain extra things in your project. So without much further ado, let's get into and have a look at how this actually looks like. So this is the code base. This is where we had written our unit tests a couple of weeks back. It doesn't really matter what is the application code base. What really matters is how do you use the lint. To get started, I can simply write .gradle w and lint. And if you hit enter, you start seeing that it automatically ran certain things and gave certain report. And if you want to see the report, you can actually go here, build reports, lint results, debug HTML. So this is how this thing actually looks like. Let me just open it in the browser, and you can see that this report basically has captured around 48 warnings. Is there target SDK attribute problem, redundant label activity, and then obsolete Gradle dependency, that is, if a new version of the Gradle is available, are you still running on the old Gradle dependency? So all those things. So let me quickly show you how it works. If you go back, applications build Gradle file, that is this particular build Gradle file, and if you go to the top, one of the plugins that gets added by default is idcom.android.application. And when you add this particular plugin, this is a default plugin. Without this, your application will not even build. So when you add that, automatically the default lint that comes with your Android application gets added. And that is the reason why I was able to basically run this particular lint command and get this particular report. More often than not, this particular report that gets generated by the default lint tool is more than sufficient. And if you solve these problems, your code quality will automatically improve to great extent. But then in certain cases, you may want to actually go a little bit extra. You want to add certain extra linting capabilities. Probably you want to have certain styling enforcement that you want to enforce in your application. Maybe there is Kotlin-specific linting that you want to do. Then there are many third-party lint tools that you can include in your application. I will show you how, for example, Ktlint. Ktlint is very popular linting tool to enforce Kotlin related rules. So how that is integrated in the build Gradle file so that you can do the Ktlint as well. So let me quickly show you how it could be done and how then it can be run. So the first thing that we have to do is open the another build Gradle file, and here we have to add another plugin, that is Ktlint. Let us sync it, and after that let's go to the applications build Gradle file and then add the Ktlint in the plugin, and then you should add certain Ktlint configurations that can be added at the end. So let me go to the bottom here. These are the Ktlint configurations. It basically tells which version of the Ktlint that you are using. Are there any ignore failures? What kind of reports you want to generate, the format, and then do you want to exclude anything as a part of this Ktlint. So of course the generated and build folder you want to exclude. So that is the reason why those things are mentioned here. And then if I just sync this and I can just run Gradle W Ktlint check. It basically checks for the code violations and it will generate any report if there are anything to be found. Of course, if some build fails, you can have a look at it, and let's assume that you have some formatting related issues to check. In that case, you can run Gradle W Ktlint format, then it will basically check for any format related issues. Or if you want to just generate a baseline file, you can write this command, that is Ktlint generate baseline, and then it will generate a basic Ktlint report. And if you want to see where that is, you can go to the build file reports and you can see that it has generated multiple Ktlint files here, reports, and you can just go and check it in the browser, and this is how that report actually looks like. And let's assume that you want to have a really customized set of rules that you want to enforce. Then what you can do is you can actually create a file which is called as editorconfig file. So what I can do is I can go to the project here, and here I will create a new file, editorconfig file, and here I can put some rules. These might be rules that you want to enforce as a lead in your project. Do you want Kotlin space after comma? This might be a styling thing that you might be interested in following. You can say true or false, blank lines around block when you want to do any branches, so 0, what kind of function signature that you want to follow, disable any specific rules if needed. There are certain conventions and standards you can declare here, and that doesn't change anything in terms of the command that you run. You can still run the same command, and Kotlin plugin that you have included here in the Gradle at the top, this one is automatically configured to look for these files, that is .editorconfig file containing these rules, so that it will automatically check whether these rules are being enforced when the Ktlint runs. More often than not, most of these tools are open source and free tools, and they can come really handy. In the next video, we will go beyond Lint. We will talk about how to enforce the static code scans, and after that we will move on to how to do CI/CD. That brings us to the end of this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye.